Hi there Wargamers, I'm Alex with our Wargame, and today I have for you another combat simulation in the Incursion style. I'm going to be pointing two 1000 point lists against each other, both piloted by me, because in combat simulations you're playing against yourself to test out new tactics and such before you actually get to play with your opponents. This is a nice way to kind of figure out if there's something you're not going to do in the next game. I'll be playing Thousand Suns and Space Marines of the Saphirite Dragoons chapter. So, without further ado, let's dive down into the list. If you find any issues along the way, make sure to let me know in the comments. We have 1000 points of Space Marines of the Saphirite Dragoons custom chapter right here, and that's 1000 on the nose. The Saphirite Dragoons use the custom subfaction rules, giving them bolter fusillades, meaning that their models reroll hit rolls of 1 when rolling again with bolt weapons. And they also have the duelist trait, which means that when they're attacking infantry or biker units, unmodified hit rolls of 6 will automatically wound the target. It can't be taken with Whirlwind of Rage, but since we didn't do that, no problem. Now we're moving into the army, and we'll start with the Warlord. That's the Primaris Lieutenant with the Relic Shield and Neo-volkite Blaster and the Mastercrafted Power Sword. He will take the Warlord trait Iron Resolve, as well as a relic, which is the Adamantine Mantle, which he gets from being an Ultramarine Successor chapter. The Adamantine Mantle gives him +1 to wounds and a 5-up feel no pain. Our second character is the Apothecary, and we have paid the points to increase him to a Chief Apothecary, and spent the 2 command points before the game to grant him both a relic and a Warlord trait. The Warlord trait being Selfless Healer, allowing him to use the stratagem for resurrection and healing at 0 combat points. And he's going to be wearing the Armor Indomitus for 2-up save, and the chance to use a invulnerable save at 3+ once per game. As for the troop choice, we have 5 Primaris Assault Intercessors. The Sergeant over there will be having a Plasma Pistol and a Power Fist. We'll also have a squad of 6 regular Intercessors, one with the Astartes grenade launcher over there. I had the 20 points left after finishing the rest of the list, so I thought why not add another Intercessor. Add fast attacks. We have a squad of 3 Inceptors that will start the game set up in the skies above. They'll all be having their bolter options. For dedicated transport, we have the Primaris Gladiator, as I've called it. This is an impulsor with a shield dome and heavy stubber. For elite choices, we have a squad of 5 Vanguard veterans wielding thunder hammers and storm shields. As you can see, my sergeant is kit bashed with a Retributor shield and Liberator shield from Age of Sigmar. I just thought they looked nice. They also all have jump packs. Also in the heavy slot we have a troop of 3 Eradicators. These are the mean men to beat, and we'll see if they can't eat up some demons. Before the game we'll spend a command point to have the Apothecary as well as the Assault Intercessors start the game inside the Impulsor. We'll see what happens. And these are the Thousand Suns. We have 916 points, bringing them sorta short. But I don't think I had anything I could add to these without losing too much. So, the Warlord will be a Demon Prince of Tzeentch, known as the Rosea Horrificrux. Once upon a time, 10 pink horrors defeated a Space Marine Space Wolf's captain, and so Tzeentch granted them a boon and formed them into this mighty Demon Prince. Now they're ready to slaughter anything that stands in the way of their Grand Lord. He is going to be the Warlord, and he's going to be fighting with a Hellforged sword as well as the Malefic Talons. I've also paid the 35 points to grant him wings. His Warlord trait is Devastating Sorcery, and he holds an Arcane Focus. Devastating Sorcery makes it so that his psychic powers that would deal mortal wounds will deal additional. Arcane Focus grants him +1 to any psychic test taken. He's going to know the Siege's Firestorm and Doom Bolt spells. This would also be the right time to mention that I do have a Cult of Magic cult going on here, which means he'll also know Arcane Blast for additional damage. Supporting him is the one, the only Arsec Ahriman. He's going to be flying on his disc and not being a warlord, because Ahriman sucks as a warlord. He doesn't get the cult bonuses and such, and you get much fewer choices for your warlord trait. I did, however, grant him a warlord trait by command point, and so he will have otherworldly prescience, which grants him +1 to his invulnerable save to a maximum of +3. He is also going to know the psychic powers Death Hicks and Gift of Chaos, so he'll be primarily a buffing character. We have with them 3 troop choices, 1 squad of Rubric Marines that will know the... there we go, where are they? They'll know the Glamour of Siege, or the Temporal Manipulation, or the Boon of Mutation, based on which squad we are in. All 3 squads, as you can see, have icons of flame, and all 3 squads are loaded only with warp flame weapons, be they pistols for the sorcerers, or warp flamers entirely for the troop choices. Final squad here is an elite choice. We have a squad of the Scarab Occult Terminators, and I apologize for not finishing painting these yet, but there's some of them up around. At least you can tell what they are, right? They'll all be wielding their boulders, of course, Inferno boulders, I think they're called. They'll know the Weaver of Fate's psychic power, and they're bringing a Hellfire missile rack as well as a Soul Reaper cannon. That's it for the Cult of Magic. We'll see if they can actually manage to best the boys in blue over here. For today's mission, we'll be playing Incursion Resupply out of the 2020 Grand Tournament book. Each objective is progressive, with taken hold scoring 5, 10 or 15 based on having 1, 2 or more than your opponent objectives. It also comes with the special feature that at the start of the game, several of these points are designated as the Gamma and Beta objectives and will disappear at the 4th and 5th battle rounds. Quite exciting. All of this terrain is GW, aside from these 3D printed barrels that I got from a friend. I have no idea what mark they are. The barricades are from the Star Wars Legion core set. And I do believe that is it for this mission. We're deploying along the far lines of this battle. For secondary objectives, the Space Marines have chosen the Oaths of Moment, gaining bonus points at the end of their turns if they didn't fall back, didn't fail morale tests, slew any characters, monsters or vehicles, and if they have a unit totally within 6 inches of the battlefield center. That'll be easy to measure because one of the objectives is at the center. They also took Secure the Sites, which is the specific one both of them did for this mission. This marker over here, as well as this marker over here, will grant additional points based on the rounds they're holding them in. The Faust, that doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, that's because one of them is the third. Yeah, good. Cut that. The Space Marine's final choice is the Arbor the Witch, scoring points whenever they kill Psykers. Considering that there are a total of 6 Psyker units, all of them, on the board, this is probably a pretty smart choice. The Thousand Suns went as well with Secure the Landing Sites. They also took Engage in All Fronts, scoring points for being in every single table quarter, 3 out of 4 and rounding up. And also within their ranks, because they do have a lot of mortal wounds to dish out, and that might take care of a lot of Space Marines quite swiftly. And we're done with deployment. Here we have the finished setup. The Demon Prince and the Rubric Marines are hiding over here. Kind of afraid of that Space Marine turn 1 shoot to kill. More Rubric Marines with Ahriman over here. And a squad of Rubric Marines over here moving in, hopefully to contest the objectives at the center. The Space Marines have set the Primaris Repulsor with the Apothecary and the 5 Assault Marines over here. The Intercessors are guarding their lieutenant over here. The Eradicators are hiding out, not wanting to get too beat up. With the Vanguard Marines, the Inceptors, the Assault Marines and the Apothecaries being set up elsewhere. Of course, the Assault Marines and Apothecaries were in there. And the Inceptors and Vanguard Marines will pop out after turn 2 at some point. The Scarab Terminators are also set up in the Teleportarian Chamber. We'll be moving into the first turn now. We'll see who gets the first roll. Roll off the first turn. The green die is for the Thousand Suns, the black one for the Space Marines. We'll see who goes first. Space Marines have turn 1. We're at the end of the movement phase for the Space Marines turn 1. In the command phase they gained a command point and entered the tactical doctrine at the start of turn. As you can see, these Intercessors have chosen to hold their ground over here, whereas the Eradicators and the Primaris Lieutenant have advanced over here, hoping to take out this demon. Over here the Impulsor have made a bold move, driving across the battlefield to cover that objective, while then disembarking the Apothecary and the Assault Marines that are hoping to charge these Rubric Marines. I'm not really sure that tactic is going to work out that well for them, seeing as the Rubric Marines are all doused in flamers, but we'll see how it goes. Let's get into the shooting. The Impulsor is firing its Storm Bolters and its Iron-Tail Heavy Stubber into these Marines. Since they're technically within contact of this, they're going to get the +1 benefit to their saves. Now we are hitting on 3s with the Storm Bolter. And we are wounding on 4s because they're same strength, same toughness. And we are missing 1 there, and missing 2 there. And we are wounding, oh, that tilted a bit, that's not very good. And we are wounding, we are saving, on 3s. So there's no penetration. No wounds for that. Moving into the Iron-Tail Heavy Stubber. 4 shots hitting on 3s because it's a vehicle firing heavy weapon, and because of the Devastator Doctrine it's AP -2. Hitting on 3s. Well, that could have gone a bit better. And we are wounding on 4s because it's 4 to 4 once again. That makes 2 of them. -2 to save, so a 4-up save. Or 5-up save. No saves. That kills off 2 Rubric Marines. Poor sots. The Eradicators are firing their melter rifles into the Demon Prince hiding over there. They have advanced, so they'll be taking a -1 to hit. And they're declaring that they will fire only on him. So, oh, there's a die there. I gotta run away. So they'll get to fire twice this turn, and we're paying 1 command point for the Sons of Guilliman, as the Dragoons are a Ultramarine Successor chapter. For Sons of Guilliman, they get to reroll hit rolls, a hit roll of 1, since they are not troops. Okay, so we're hitting on 4s, rerolling 1. Well, that could have gone a bit better. Strength 8 against Toughness 6, so we're wounding on 3s. There's a wound. Saving on 5s with the 4s actually, because the Demon Prince has a 4-up invul save. Fails. That's going to be a command point reroll. We're not going to take that much damage early on. Oh, it still fails. That's D6 damage. Taking 6 in the first round of shots. It's down to 2 health already. And they're firing again because they chose to declare that they're firing twice. They're also actually rolling wound rolls of 1 because of him. We have to remember that. This roll. We have 2 hits this time. Once again, wounding on 3s. Rerolling wound rolls of 1 because of the Corps and the Lieutenant. That's 3 wounds. 2 wounds. Saving on 4s again. He fails 1. Oh, does the Demon Prince already go down? He does not. He saves it. Thank you very much. Otherwise, that would have been quite less interesting if half the points were already gone. The Intercessors over here have decided that they also want to take their shot against the Demon Prince. Seeing as he's only at 2 health, This might be able to quickly turn the tides of battle in their Space Marines' favor. They're going to be having 12 shots as they are rapid fire and remain stationary for this turn. So we'll be having 12 shots against the Demon Prince, who does get the benefits of cover. One shot with the grenade launcher, hitting on 3s, we're firing crack. It's hitting. It has -1 actually, so it's hitting on 4s, but that's still okay. We are wounding on 4s because it's a 6-6, and it does not wound. 10 rapid fire bolter shots, hitting on 4s because of cover. Let's see here. Ah, that's not so bad. Let's lose here. Go there. That could have been a lot worse for what we got. We're wounding on 5s because this thing is very tough. Oh, will you look at that? That could have gone a lot better. And a single save at AP -1, so that's a 4-up for the demon. And it's saved. The Assault Incisors are going to fire everything they have into the Rubric Marines that are hiding out over here to see if they can clean up the job. And afterwards, I think the Apothecary is going to do the same. 4 heavy bolt pistols hitting on 3s. And we're wounding on 4s. And we're saving on 3s. Well, one goes through. Actually, we're saving on... Wow, we're actually saving on 2s. It has a damage characteristic of 1. So because of Fall of Dust, the Rubric Marine gets a +1, which means saving on 2s without the AP. Nice job, Rubrics. Plasma pistol from the Sergeant. Well, it's a good thing it didn't supercharge. The Apothecary fires his Absolver bolt pistol into the Rubric Marines. Hitting on 4s because of cover. That's a 6, that's a hit. Wounding on 3s because it's actually a strength 5 weapon. There we go, that's 1. It's AP -1, so they're saving on 2s again because it's a damage characteristic of 1 weapon. They fail to save. Wow, another rubric goes down. Poor sod. Quick note, the Absolver was actually damage 2, so there wouldn't have been the +1 to save, so it would have only saved on 3s, not 2s. But it died anyway, so... At the end of the shooting phase, the Space Marines are spending 1 command point for rapid fire, getting to fire once again with these intercessors over here. This time they're firing against the demon, yet again, seeing if they can take him down once more. Once again, grenade launcher into the demon. Wow, it manages to fail again. Another 10 rapid fire shots. And we're hitting on 4s. They're really missing that sergeant in a moment. Wounding on 5s. Oh, that's not too shabby. 2s. -1, +1, saving on 3s. Ah, both are saved. Waste of a command point. The Courageous Assault Marines are declaring a charge against the group of Rubric Marines over here. The Thousand Suns player is paying a command point in order to fire Overwatch. D6 pistol shots from the Warp Flame pistol. 1 Warp Flame pistol shot. Auto hits, wounding on 5s because it's only strength. Yeah, never mind that one. D6 shots from the actual Warp Flamer. 4 shots from the Warp Flamer. Auto hit, wounding on 4s because it's a 4-4. And that could have gone way better there. Well, AP -2, the Space Marines are saving on a 5. And they make the save. Too bad. Charge roll. Definitely making it on that 8. The Apothecary is attempting to charge as well. He'll need a lot more though. I'm not sure that 5 is going to cut it. We'll measure up. He just barely makes it through, so at the end of the charge phase, these rubrics are in a poor state indeed. 4 attacks from the Sergeant's Power Fist into the Rubric Marines, hitting on 4s because it's a Power Fist attack. Oh, that's not good for them. That's very not good for them. Wounding on 2s. Well, he does miss 1. And they're saving on their invulnerable save. 5-up invulnerable save. They don't make it. That means both of these last 2 Rubric Marines are gone and dead. At the end of turn 1, it's looking pretty good for the Space Marines. They've managed to get themselves already down over here, ready to engage over here with the Tilted Arrow Man. They've also managed to deal quite a bit of damage to the Demon Prince, although it's probably going to be healed by one of the Rubric Marines later on. They also score 1 point for over Valor, as none of them has failed a morale check or fallen back. Moving into Thousand Suns, turn 1. We'll see if they can turn this around. We're entering the Psychic phase after the movement phase, but let's just quickly go over what's happened. The Demon Prince of Siege has come out of hiding and is flying over here to deal with these pests. He's bringing with him the Rubric Marines that know temporal manipulation. They're hoping to restore a bit of his health in just a moment. The Rubric Marines down here have turned to face their flamers on these Plefty Loyalist Marines. And Ahriman is going to bossman this thing up and deal with this Impulsor. Yeah, we'll see if that's actually how it's going to turn out, though. Usually the dice has something to say, eh? Also in the command phase, they just gained a command point since they're not at 20 plus Codex. Casting Temporal Manipulation from the Rubric Marines onto the Demon Prince. And they're going to spend 1 command point. We really want to get this off to get a +1 to the roll. Rolling for a 6, and we have a +1. That's a 9. It regains the 3 wounds. 3 wounds! That's quite important. That brings it back from 2 to 5. They're casting Glamour of Siege on themselves down here. It has a warp charge value of 7. Yes. If it goes off, the enemies will have -1 to hit against them. That's an 8. It goes off. Glamour of Siege. The Demon Prince is casting Siege's Firestorm against the Primaris Lieutenant. Warp charge 7 with a +1. That's a 5. That's a 6. It's not going to make it. He is going to command point reroll that one. Oh, he makes it! 6 and a +1, that's 7. It goes off. He rolls 9 dice. For each 6, the Primaris Lieutenant will suffer a mortal wound. However, due to his relic from the Cult of Magic, it's going to be 2 mortal wounds per 6. That's, let's see here, there's 2 6s here. That means he's going to take 4 mortal wounds in total. 4 saves of 6 for Feel No Pain. One of them doesn't go through, he takes only 3 damage, and he has a +1 to his wound characteristic from his Warlord trait, bringing him down to 2 health. Quick edit, it's down to 3 for the +1, so yeah, he has a bit more health left. The Demon Prince is firing his Doom Bolt into the Primaris Lieutenant. Warp charge value of 9, hitting on an 8. It goes off! Damn, that's good. That means he takes D3 mortal wounds and has his movement halved. He only takes 1, that brings him down to 2. But the Demon Prince is then going to spend a command point for Sorcerous Infusion. This restores 1d3 health to the Demon Prince since he made a casting roll of 9 or more. He regains another 2 wounds, that brings him back up to 7. Nice going, Demon Prince. Ahriman is casting Death Hex on the Impulsor. Warp charge value 5 goes off. Rolling 3 dice, each roll of 4 is a mortal wound. 2 mortal wounds on the Impulsor. Nice going. Quick edit, that was Infernal Gaze that we cast before, but now we are casting Death Hex. We did the text of Infernal Gaze correctly, so we'll just continue. Death Hex has a warp charge value of 9, and if we succeed on this, the Impulsor will be denied its invulnerable save until my next Psychic phase. Doesn't go off though. And now we're casting Smite. Goes off. D3 mortal wounds. 2 mortal wounds, bringing it down to 7 health. The Demon Prince of Siege casts a command point ability at the end of the Psychic phase, a stratagem of course, called the Great Sorcerer. By spending 1 command point, going from 2 down to 1, he's immediately allowed to manifest another psychic power. He is going to Astral Blast these Eradicators. Warp charge value of 6 at a +1, he will be manifesting on a 5. That's an 8. That's definitely manifested. D3 mortal wound to the Eradicators. 1 mortal wound to the Eradicators, which becomes 2 mortal wounds because of his relic. Also, the Lieutenant takes 2 mortal wounds because he is within 3 inches of them. This would kill him, but it does have that 6-up feel no pain. Let's see how it goes. He fails both. The Lieutenant goes down as collateral damage for the Eradicators. Oh, that's a heavy loss with the Warlord gone already. That was a pretty decent psychic phase. We'll now move into the shooting style. And we'll start down here. 4 Warp Flamers into these Assault Intercessors. They're firing D6 shots each. That's difficult to say. That's 6, that's 10, that's 14, that's 16 shots into them. Auto hits. Wounding on 4s, because with the same strength. That could have gone a lot better, couldn't it? Let's see here. Oh, that's a fudge die. Let's reroll that. Well, it became a head. That's pretty good. Here we go. This hits. Wow, that was easy to sort through. We are saving on 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, they make 4 saves. That would be 2 damage dealt. And since they're in range of the Apothecary, there's a 6-up feel no pain. Nope. 1 Assault Marine dies. We'll be killing off... Oh, they actually got split a bit. I must have hit them. Kill off this guy down here. The Warp Flame Pistol fires 6 times. Wounding on 5s. Well, that's actually a lot better than I would have expected for a wounding on 5s roll. Saving on 4s. Saving everything. Those are some lucky Assault Marines. In the charge phase, these Rubric Marines are going to go ahead and charge the Eradicators over here. They are going to need an 8 to make it. Let's see how they fare. And even 9. They make the charge. The Demon Prince of Siege, Rosea Horrificus, is also going to be charging the Eradicators. He needs a 6 to make it. He rolls a 9 as well. Definitely gets in there. And of course these have been set to defend, so they couldn't fire Overwatch, but they get +1 to their attacks while defending this. Harryman needs a 3 to bash up this Impulsor. Well, there's a 6 and a 2, that definitely did it. That's actually enough that he can charge across, because he has the fly keyword. He's going to fly across it and contest for that objective in the next turn. With all the charges done, it is now time for the fighting phase. The Thousand Suns player has charged and so elects to attack first using the Demon Prince of Siege. Due to its charging, it has 5 attacks against the Eradicators, and it's going to be hitting on 2s. 6s generate an additional hit. Everything hits, and we add another die. It's going to be wounding on 3s, because those Gravis armors are ever so flamingly difficult to defeat. Well, there's 2 of them that didn't go through. Saving on 5s for the Eradicators. They don't make a single save, they all die instantly. Wow, go Demon Prince, this is certainly his game. Ahriman is attacking the Impulsor using the Black Staff of Ahriman. He has 5 attacks, 4 from himself and 1 from Hateful Assault. 6 is to explode into additional hits because of Death to the Force Emperor, hitting on 2s. Rerolling 1s because he is a friendly Thousand Sun and it is an old codex. 5 hits, 2 of which generate additional hits. Wounding on 5s because the Impulsor is toughness 7 at Ahriman's strength 6. Well, that could have gone a bit better. There we go. 2 wounds. Saving on 4s. No succeeds. It takes another 6 damage. 3 each. Ouch. That brings it down to 1 health. But it is still standing strong. Ish. The Impulsor is striking back. Because of Angels of Death, it has an entire of 2 attacks. Because it's at 1 wound, it would be set 1 and +1. Hitting on 6s. There's a hit! Wow. Wounding on 3s because it has more strength than Ahriman's toughness. It doesn't wound. We're at the end of the first battle round. The score is currently 1-0 for the Space Marines. However, the Space Marines are not in the best positions, combat position wise. They've lost their Ratigators, they've lost their Lieutenant, and the Demon Prince is down by their lines, ready to wreak havoc. Ahriman is also over here, taking out the Impulsor next turn unless it manages to fall back and escape. And the Thousand Suns are contesting for 2 of the objective markers labeled A, meaning that they will get to score a lot of points on secondaries unless the Ultramarines can clear this up in the second round. Let's see what happens as reinforcements are now eligible to join in through Deep Strike. In the command phase, the Space Marines, the Saphirite Dragoons, score 5 points for holding this objective, while this one over here is currently contested by Ahriman, so no points there. Maybe they should have considered letting these Assault Intercessors remain to hold it. Anywho, that's 5 points. The Tactical Doctrine becomes active, granting a -1 armor penetration to rapid fire and assault weapons. We are also gaining 1 command point and then proceeding to move. We're on the other side of the movement phase for the Space Marines. The Impulsor has elected to falling back, knowing full well that this will cost the Space Marines a point in the end, but it might allow it to survive for another turn, as the Assault Intercessors and the Apothecary are now moving up to engage Ahriman, hopefully being able to deal with him. The Intercessors over here are holding their ground since they're in a pretty good firing position and still holding the point. We have the Vanguard Veterans dropping in down here and are going to charge that Demon Prince, but not before the Inceptors who drop down here are going to completely demolish the squad next to him. Let's see how it goes in the shooting. The Intercessors are firing all of their bolt rifles into these Rubric Marines. See if they can clear them down, so that the Demon Prince can be taken out of commission for good afterwards. We are going to be rolling 12 dice, as these are all just sitting there, triggering their rapid fires. 12 shots firing, hitting on 3s. And we're re-rolling bolter shots because of bolter fusillades. Re-rolling 1s. So that's only 2 misses, that's pretty decent. We are wounding on 4s. Well, that could have gone a bit better still, but I think it might just do. We won't clear all of them, but there'll be some. Theirs is at a -1 because they're at a +1 for their all the studs, but we're at -2 technically because of our doctrine. So -1 means it's a 4-up save. They succeed 2 of them. That means 2 of these Rubric Marines are now dead. With the squad of Rubric Marines now down to 3, the Demon Prince no longer benefits from the Look Out Sir rule, and so the Inceptors are going to fire 18 assault bolter shots into the Demon Prince. It's AP -1, and because of bolter fusillades, we are re-rolling 1s. Hitting on 3s, of course, since they're Space Marines. Re-rolling 1, 2, 3, 4 1s here. And now we're moving the 2s and the 1s. We've removed all the 1s. There we go. Strength 5 and toughness 6, so we're wounding on 5s. Let's see if we can get all of these up here. There we go. Wounding on 5s. And that's not a very good roll. That's very poor, actually. Well, 4 wounds at AP -2. He fails 2 of them, taking 2 damage. Over here we have 4 bolt pistols and a plasma pistol that are firing at Ahriman. Bolt pistols first, hitting on 3s. Well, that was once again quite sad. There we go. Since there are bolt weapons, they're actually re-rolling 1s because of bolter fusillades. I have to remember that. That would have made it a lot better. Wounding on 5s. Single wound. He fails it. Ahriman takes the damage. Well, that's pretty funny, eh? Also, we're firing the plasma and we're actually not supercharging it. So 3s. And wounding on 4s. Nope. The good doctor over here, the Apothecary, is going to throw a crack grenade at Ahriman. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. Ah, that failed. Too bad. That could have nearly killed him. So the shooting could have gone better, I think. We're not going to command point rapid fire at this time. We need to keep them for rerolls of charges and transhuman physiology. Moving into the charge phase, we're going to charge these veterans into the Demon Prince and also into the Rubric Marines, since their flamers can't actually reach us at this time. We're gonna need a 9 to make it. That's a 10. They're in. Now charging the Assault Marines into Ahriman. A 5. That's gonna make it. The Apothecary is going to charge as well, just to get away from these flamers that might potentially assault him next turn. Rolling up at a 4. I don't think he made it. We'll see if he'll get grilled next turn then. Sorry about that, mister. We obviously forgot to use the Combat Restoratives ability down here, using the stratagem to restore a model to the assault. Instances it has now been placed where it should have been at this time. 16 attacks against the Demon Prince of Siege using the Vanguard Veterans Thunder Hammers. We are hitting on 4s and wounding on 3s. So here we go, hitting on 4s. That's a pretty decent roll. Unfortunately, we don't get the duelist bonus because we're not fighting against a infantry unit. But that's still pretty good. Wounding on 3s. That's a pretty fine roll. Wow. Okay. Demon Prince might be chubby into pieces now. We are saving on 4s because of the invulnerable save. We're saving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means taking 4 of them straight on. We just had to check that. There is no feel, no pain or anything in effect for the Demon Prince. The Warlord goes down from the 3, 6, 9, 12 damage to his face. Sorry there, Rosea Horrificrix, your crusade ends today. Now electing these to fight, they're going to pile in so that the Sergeant and this Backbone guy is also within range. All of them targeting Ahriman. Let's see if they can deal with him. The Sergeant has 4 attacks against Ahriman, hitting on 4s because he's attacking using a Power Fist. Well, that's just the 1 hit. Wounding on 3s. That's a wound. Ahriman is saving on 3s because of his Warlord trait. He fails, he takes 3 damage and drops to 1 health already. 16 Astartes chainsword attacks are going into Ahriman now. Let's see if they can manage to deal that one last final damage. They're hitting on 3s, and if you're wondering why it's 16, it's 2 apiece, plus 1 free for the chainsword, plus 1 for Angels of Death. Let's get the zoom going here. There's a lot here, a lot of 3s here. And 6s explode into auto wounds because of Duelist, because Ahriman is, as a matter of fact, a character. So let's set these 3 aside, they are auto wounding. And now we're wounding Ahriman on, oh, not that one, that's a 2. We're wounding Ahriman on 5s, because he is pretty tough after all. That's an additional wound. So Ahriman has to make 5 saves at 3 up. He does not. He fails 1. Thousand Suns spends the last command point they have to reroll this, and Ahriman stays in the battle. Ahriman is whacking his black staff of Ahriman into the assault intercessors. He has 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s. All of them hit, wounding on 3s. That's pretty good. AP -1, wounding on, saving on 4s. I mean, okay, that's a pretty good save still. 2 of them take 3 damage, which means they have to make 6. They have to make some feel no pain saves here. 6 feel no pains. Oh, they fail all of them. That's 2 models gone from the unit. The Rubric Marines over here that are left standing are going to take a whack at those Vanguard veterans. Starting with the Aspiring Sorcerer, who is going to crack his Forestave into them. He's hitting on 3s. And he has 3 attacks because he was charged. And he's wounding on 3s as well, because it's actually a pretty strong weapon. Oh, that wasn't very good. They are saving on 4s. They saved. The rest of the Rubric Marines are fist fighting! That could have gone better, but it's not that bad. Wounding on 4s. They wound, saving on 3s. They save it. For 2 command points, the Space Marines are playing Honor the Chapter to get another chance to settle with Ahriman. Attacking once again with these Assault Intercessors at the end of the fight phase. 4 attacks, hitting on 4s. 6 explode into auto wounds. Auto wound, saving on 3s for Ahriman. He does not save, and he has rerolled this phase. Ahriman is slain. Battle shock test for the Assault Intercessors. It's a 1, auto succeed. Battle shock test for the Rubric Marines. Oh wow, they actually fail. Okay, so we'll have this guy run away. Yeah, that guy ran away. And now let's see for the banner. He stays. And the sorcerer stays as well. That's it for the battle shock. We're now at the end of the second turn for the Ultramarines. They score a total of 1 plus 2, so they score a total of 3 points for their No Mercy No Respite category, Oaths of Moment, as they have a unit totally within 6 inches of the center, and they have slain a character or monster this turn. They've actually done both, but it's only an if, not for each, so that's 3 points for the Ultramarines. In the command phase, the Thousand Suns gain a command point, of course, and they score a total of 12 points. 5 for holding 1 objective, 2 for holding 2 objectives, and another 2 because one of those objectives is one of those labeled A. Well done, they've just taken a point lead, but we'll see if they can keep it after the movement phase. At the end of the movement phase, these Rubric Marines over here have fallen back, because they'll rather just be, I think they'll do better charging and then overwatching. The Terminators have dropped down over here, and the other Rubric squad has moved around over here and are hoping to take care of these Inceptors before they can cause any more harm. We'll see how they fare. With only 3 units left, this might be a dead giveaway for the Space Marines. The Rubrics over here are going to smite these annoying thingies. Let's hope some mortal wounds can take care of them. It goes off. D3 mortals. 2 mortal wounds. That kills off one of them. The Terminator Sorcerer is also going to smite, which is now only going off on a 6. Let's see how it fares. That's a whopping 10. That means it's additional mortal wounds. Nice. My mistake. A 10 is still only D3 mortal wounds. 1 mortal wound. Another smite is coming down over here. Going off on an 8. No, actually on a 7. Right? 1, 2, 3. The first cast is 3 on the 5, so that's 6, 7. Oh yeah, it goes off. Do 3 mortal wounds. 3 mortal wounds to the Inceptors. That takes down one of them. At the end of the Psychic phase, these Terminators are going to cast the stratagem known as the Great Sorcerer yet again. For 1 command point, they get to cast another Psychic power. They're choosing Astral Blast, targeting these Vanguard Veterans that are the closest targets. We're going to need a warp cast value of 6 here. That's a 10. It goes off. D3 mortal wounds. 1 mortal wound, taking down another one. The Rubric Marines down here are firing all of their Warp Flamers and Warp Flame Pistol into these Inceptors. 4d6 shots. They're firing 2, 4, 7, they're firing 12 times. Right, we are auto hitting because it is a Flamer type weapon, and we are wounding on 5s. Oh, there's a lot of spread here. We only wound 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 wounds actually is pretty decent. AP -2, so we're saving on 5s. Only 1 success. That's 3 damage. That's another Inceptor gone. Wounding on 5s yet again. Oh, there he goes. Wow, taking the objective down with him. Oh, good, you didn't see that on camera. This thing keeps flipping. I need to make some better objectives. But we do have 4 saves at -1. That's 4 ups. He fails 1 to 3. He's dead. The Scarab Occult Terminators are firing everything they have into these Vanguard Veterans. Starting with the Hellfire Missile Rack. 2 shots with a heavy weapon. -1 to hit, so hitting on 4s. Well, those are 2 hits. Wounding on 3s because it's strength 8. Well, 1 miss. Saving on 4s because of invulnerables. No save. That's 2 damage. That's another bottle gone. Cross that. It's D3 damage, not 2 damage. It's 2 damage. 1 bottle's gone. Soul Reaper auto cannon firing again at them. Here we go. We have 4s hitting on 3s. Well, that's not quite as good as the previous one, was it? Only wounding on 3s this time. That's a wound. And saving on 4s again. That's a save. 16 shots with the combi bolters also into the Vanguards. We're hitting on 3s. Oh, that's pretty damn delicious. Too bad there's no Emperor, Death to the False Emperor on this one. We're wounding on 4s because we have equal strength and toughness. Oh, that's a good roll. And it's -2 AP, so they're saving on their 4-up invulnerable saves. They make 4 of them, which means they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. That's 2 dead. The Vanguard Veterans were decimated after taking out the Demon Prince. This is quite a strange game. So where are we at? It's the end of the 3rd battle round, and things are really getting heated. The Thousand Suns are at 3 units left. The Space Marines are at 4 units left. However, the Impulsor is only at 1 health, and they have lost 2 Assault Marines over here. Points-wise, the score is currently at 12 to 9 in favor of the Thousand Suns. But it's impossible to say at this stage how it's going to come out. I think the advantage with the Thousand Suns right now is quite likely the pure amount of mortal wounds they can dish out, because it's a full Psyker list that we've brought today. I feel like that's one of the advantages they're taking. Let's see what happens in the 3rd battle round. Space Marines Command Phase, turn 3. They have gained a command point, going up to a total of 2, and decided to go into the Tactical Doctrine again, granting an armor penetration bonus to their rapid fire and assault weapons. Hopefully that will boost a lot on the Impulsor and the Intercessors. They also score a whopping 17 points. That's a lot to suddenly gain a lead with, but it is because they're holding 2 objectives, which means 5 plus 5, and they score another 5 for holding more than the Thousand Sun player, who is not in range of the other objectives to control them. And they score 2 points because one of those objectives is this one over here, which is labeled A by the game, granting another 2 points as we end the third battle round. Let's see how they move up and how they organize. Space Marine movement was over quite quickly. The Impulsor has moved just a few inches ahead, so it's still within 3 to control. The Assault Marines and the Apothecary are stepping out over here, and the Intercessors have remained in position as they have been the entire game. Let's go into shooting. Yes, it's saving on 5s. Rolling in. Wow, they do save 1, 2, 3, which isn't enough. The last 2 Rubric Marines over here, who are so valiantly holding on to this point, are gone. Once again, forgot to mention that, of course, the Apothecary has restored an Assault Marine over here to combat. Yeah, here we go. 3 pistols into these Rubric Marines, hitting on 3s. 2s. Wounding on 4s. 1. Saving on 4s. Saved. Plasma pistol, 3s. 3s. And saving on 5s. No save. And Marine dies over here. Absolver bolt pistol from the Apothecary into the Rubrics. Doesn't hit. The Impulsor is firing everything into these Rubric Marines. Let's see if it can take them down. Hitting on 5s with these. With the Iron Sail stubber thingy. Only 1. Wounding on 4s. It's wounding and they're saving on 4s. They save. Stormbolter hitting on 5s. No hits. The end of the shooting phase, the Ultramarine player, Space Marine player, I did it again, that's a bad habit, is going to spend a 1 command point on rapid fire to once again fire these Intercessors. They're going to fire them all into these Rubric Marines over here. This could definitely settle a match. 12 shots hitting on 3s, the Thousand Suns player is choosing to spend a command point on Indomitable Foes. This is the last command point they have. This improves the invulnerable save by +1, bringing it to a 4. So that makes it a bit better, but this is still pretty bad. Let's zoom it. And hitting on 3s. Yep. We have pretty good shot there. That was a hit. I just rolled it. So we have a lot here. Wounding on 4s. There are 3 saves to be made at 4 up. They make 1. Losing 2 Rubric Marines. After looking over this match, it's very, very, very clear that the Thousand Suns player is completely incapable of getting back into this. With only 2 Rubric Marines over here and that squad of Terminators over here, there's simply no way for them to get back into this match and turn the tide around, as these Assault Intercessors are about to charge and kill these Rubric Marines with no chance of them surviving. Yeah, that's definitely game in favor of the Space Marines. Let's go to postgame. Well, that's it, Wargamers. That's it for that game. I feel like the Thousand Suns fell a lot behind when they lost Demon Prince and Ahriman in the same turn. I need to stop sending those 2 off whenever I play them. Like, I've done this before with charging Ahriman up against a tank, and he always kills the tank, or almost takes it down, but then I forget that there's always some sort of reinforcements coming up, and that will most likely kill our good friend Ahriman. As for the Demon Prince, I think it did marvelous. It took care, it survived the Eradicators, healed up to deal with them, and then it was sort of taken out by these Vanguard veterans that are quite annoying to deal with. I feel like Vanguard veterans' role right now is to go in and kill 1 big target, which is exactly what they did here. So that's pretty great for Space Marines. I am a sucker for forgetting to use bolter fusillades in the correct manner, but I feel like I'm getting a better hang of using these stratagems with these two. Loads more psychic spams incoming in the future. So yeah, let me know what you thought about this in the comments. I feel like with these small sized boards and these 1000 points to 500 points armies, 50 power, 25 power, those, you can always tell in the third round, like, who's going to win. I don't think I've had any game yet like that was like, no, I wasn't quite sure, or this might bend a bit the other way. Like with this one, there was literally only 4 units left on the field, but the intercessors could probably on their own have taken care of the rubric marines, and the terminators are too slow to properly get around the board and capture points. So this wasn't really a matter. I think maybe the Thousand Suns player could have managed to kill all the space marines here, but they wouldn't have been able to hold enough points to actually catch up in time if the space marine player just kept running around with the tank and the impulsor and the assault marines and the feel no pain from the apothecary. Also, I feel like I'm going to need to put my my chief apothecary to rest for now, because that build is just too strong. So damn strong that feel no pain is. I don't know if it needs a nerf, but it definitely needs something. I'm looking forward to the Thousand Suns Codex when it arrives. I just started collecting them for the Tale of 5 Warlords challenge we're doing this year. And I'm very much looking forward to them becoming 2 wounds apiece, because that will do so much when you have Aweless Dust for your +1s to save, you have Indomitable to buff up your invulnerable saves, and you can both heal and restore models using time manipulations and such. So I'm very much looking forward to that. It'll be great fun once I get into more of that. Anywho, that's my game. Feedback on my lists, feedback on how I played. Did I leave out any important rules? Did I mess up totally and this game didn't even count? Let me know down below. Also, as always, you can follow me at Instagram at AlexPaintsWH. Link will be in the description. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you all in the next game.